Hello and welcome to part 4 of the Unsolved Mysteries and Weird Things Iceberg. Today we are touching the surface of the iceberg. The surface is stuff that is still common knowledge, but not as well known as the tip. Let's get into it. The Dyatlov Pass incident refers to the mysterious deaths of 9 hikers in the Ural Mountains of Russia in February 1959. The group, led by Igor Dyatlov, embarked on a skiing expedition to Mount Otorten in the northern Urals. However, the expedition took a tragic turn when the hikers failed to return on schedule, prompting a search and rescue operation. The search team eventually discovered the hikers' abandoned campsite on the slopes of Kolet, also known as Dead Mountain, where they found the group's tent torn open from the inside. The hikers' belongings, including clothing and equipment, were left behind, suggesting that they had fled the tent in a state of panic. Further searches revealed the bodies of the hikers scattered across the surrounding area, some with signs of physical trauma, such as fractured skulls and broken ribs, while others showed signs of exposure to the elements. The circumstances surrounding the Dyatlov Pass incident have fueled numerous theories and speculation about what may have caused the hikers' deaths. Some theories propose natural explanations, such as an avalanche, hypothermia, or an encounter with a wild animal, while others suggest more sinister possibilities, such as a military accident, a Yeti attack, or paranormal phenomena. Tara Calico was a young woman from Belen, New Mexico, who vanished without a trace in September 1988. At the time of her disappearance, Tara was 19 years old and had gone out for a bike ride near her home. She was last seen by her mother as she left the house, but she never returned home. The case of Tara Calico gained national attention, with her photograph circulating widely in the media and on missing person posters. Despite extensive searches and investigations by law enforcement, including the involvement of the FBI, no sign of Tara was ever found, and her whereabouts remain unknown to this day. One of the most puzzling aspects of Tara Calico's disappearance is the discovery of a Polaroid photograph found in a parking lot in Port St. Joe, Florida, in 1989. The photo depicted a young woman and a boy, both bound and gagged, lying on a bed in what appeared to be a van. Many believed that the young woman in the photograph bore a striking resemblance to Tara Calico, leading to speculation that she may have been abducted. Lars Mittank, a German tourist, mysteriously disappeared in Bulgaria in July 2014 under bizarre circumstances, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Mittank was vacationing in the seaside resort of Golden Sands when he became involved in a physical altercation at a local bar. Following the altercation, Mittank sustained an ear injury and was advised by a doctor to avoid flying due to potential complications. Despite this advice, Mittank's friends and travel companions boarded their scheduled flight back to Germany without him. Mittank, feeling paranoid and anxious, remained in Bulgaria and booked a hotel near the airport. Over the next few days, Mittank's behavior grew increasingly erratic, and he expressed fears of being followed or targeted. The last confirmed sighting of Lars Mittank occurred at Varna Airport on July 8, 2014, where CCTV footage captured him behaving erratically and looking over his shoulder as if he were being pursued. Shortly afterward, Mittank vanished without a trace, leaving behind his belongings and passport. The Babushka Lady is a mysterious figure who appeared in photographs and films taken during the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in Dallas, Texas, on November 22, 1963. The term Babushka Lady originates from the woman's appearance, as she wore a headscarf resembling those worn by elderly Eastern European women, known as babushkas. The Babushka Lady was observed standing near the grassy knoll, close to the presidential motorcade route, during the moments leading up to and following the assassination. Several photographs and films captured her presence, with some showing her holding a camera and appearing to be photographing or filming the events unfolding. Despite extensive investigations and inquiries into the assassination, the identity and whereabouts of the babushka lady remain unknown. She has become a subject of fascination and speculation among researchers and conspiracy theorists, with numerous theories proposed regarding her possible involvement or knowledge of the assassination. Some theories suggest that the babushka lady may have captured crucial photographic evidence of the events surrounding President Kennedy's assassination, but chose to remain silent or conceal her footage for unknown reasons. Others speculate that she may have been a government agent or operative, monitoring the scene or gathering intelligence. JonBenet Ramsey was a 6-year-old American child beauty queen who was found murdered in her family's home in Boulder, Colorado, on December 26, 1996. Her death and the subsequent investigation became one of the most high-profile unsolved murder cases in modern American history. JonBenet was discovered by her parents in the basement of their home, several hours after she was reported missing. She had been strangled and her skull was fractured. The circumstances surrounding her death, including evidence of a ransom note found in the home and indications of prior sexual assault, immediately sparked intense media scrutiny and public interest. Despite extensive investigations by law enforcement, including the Boulder Police Department and the FBI, and the involvement of numerous suspects and persons of interest, no one has ever been charged in connection with JonBenet's murder. The case has been marked by controversy, including allegations of mishandling of evidence and criticism of the investigation's focus on the Ramsey family. Over the years, numerous theories and speculations have emerged regarding the circumstances of JonBenet's death, ranging from intruder theories implicating an unknown assailant to theories suggesting involvement by members of her own family. Despite the passage of time, the case remains open and continues to be the subject of intense public interest. The Black Dahlia murder refers to the brutal killing of Elizabeth Short, a young aspiring actress, in Los Angeles, California, in January 1947. Short's body was discovered mutilated and severed at the waist in a vacant lot in the Leimert Park neighborhood. Her murder captured the public's attention and became one of the most infamous unsolved crimes in American history. Elizabeth Short, nicknamed the Black Dahlia by the press due to her dark hair and penchant for wearing black clothing, had moved to Los Angeles with dreams of becoming a star in Hollywood. However, her life was tragically cut short when she was brutally murdered at the age of 22. The investigation into Short's murder was extensive, but ultimately unsuccessful in identifying her killer. The case generated widespread media coverage and numerous theories, with speculation ranging from involvement by members of the entertainment industry to connections with organized crime. Frederick Valentik was an Australian pilot who disappeared under mysterious circumstances during a training flight over the Bass Strait on October 21, 1978. Valentik was flying a small Cessna 182 aircraft from Moorabbin Airport in Melbourne to King Island, Tasmania, when he made a series of radio transmissions reporting an unidentified aircraft flying close to him. In his transmissions to air traffic control, Valentik described the aircraft as having a shiny metal surface and being not an aircraft. He reported that it was orbiting above him and moving at high speed. Moments later, Valentik reported experiencing engine trouble before his transmission abruptly cut off. Neither Valentik nor his aircraft were ever found, despite extensive search efforts. The disappearance of Frederick Valentik has fueled speculation and debate, with numerous theories proposed to explain the mysterious incident. Some believe that Valentik encountered a UFO or extraterrestrial craft, citing his descriptions of the unidentified aircraft and the lack of a rational explanation for his disappearance. Others speculate that Valentik may have staged his own disappearance or experienced disorientation or mechanical failure during the flight. The bloop refers to an ultra-low frequency and extremely powerful underwater sound detected by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, in 1997. This mysterious sound, which was picked up by hydrophones deployed in the Pacific Ocean, originated from a remote location near the Antarctic Peninsula. The bloop sound was unusual due to its extremely low frequency and the fact that it was loud enough to be heard by multiple listening stations thousands of kilometers apart. Analysis of the sound suggested that it was consistent with the acoustic signature of icequakes or large marine animals, leading to speculation about its possible origins. While some scientists initially proposed theories involving massive icebergs breaking apart or underwater volcanic activity, others suggested more exotic explanations, such as the presence of undiscovered sea creatures or even unidentified marine phenomena. The bloop sound quickly captured the public's imagination and became the subject of numerous conspiracy theories and urban legends. Missing 411 refers to a series of books and investigations conducted by retired police officer David Paulides, focusing on the unexplained disappearances of people in national parks and wilderness areas across the United States and Canada. Paulides' research highlights cases where individuals vanish under unusual circumstances, often leaving behind little or no trace. The Missing 411 books detail hundreds of cases of missing persons, many of which share common characteristics, such as the victims being young children or individuals with disabilities, the absence of scent trails or tracks, and unusual weather patterns preceding the disappearances. Paulides suggests that these cases defy conventional explanations and raise questions about the role of wilderness areas in these mysterious vanishings. While Paulides refrains from offering definitive explanations for the disappearances, he raises intriguing hypotheses, including the possibility of predatory animals, serial killers, or even paranormal or extraterrestrial involvement. He also criticizes government agencies for their handling of missing person cases and calls for greater transparency and accountability in investigations. The Missing 411 phenomenon has sparked widespread interest and debate, with supporters praising Paulides' efforts to shed light on these puzzling cases and raise awareness about the dangers of wilderness areas. However, critics have raised questions about the validity of Paulides' research methods and the reliability of his conclusions, suggesting that his theories may be speculative and sensationalistic. The Skinwalker, originating from Navajo folklore, is a shape-shifting being or witch with the ability to transform into animals. Known as Yinaldlashii in the Navajo language, it is believed to possess malevolent and supernatural powers, capable of bringing harm to individuals or communities. According to Navajo tradition, the Skinwalker is a practitioner of witchcraft who seeks to harness dark magic for nefarious purposes. They are said to have the ability to assume the forms of various animals, including wolves, coyotes, owls, and birds of prey, enabling them to move undetected and carry out their sinister deeds. Encounters with skinwalkers are often associated with feelings of fear, unease, and a sense of impending danger. They are said to possess the ability to manipulate minds, control the actions of animals, and inflict illness or death upon their victims through curses or spells. Skinwalker Ranch, also known as Sherman Ranch, is a property located in the Uinta Basin of northeastern Utah, USA, renowned for its association with a wide range of paranormal phenomena and unexplained occurrences. The ranch gained widespread notoriety after it was purchased by real estate magnate Robert T. Bigelow in the 1990s and became the focus of scientific research into the unexplained. Reports of strange phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch include UFO sightings, mysterious lights in the sky, cattle mutilations, poltergeist activity, and encounters with strange creatures. The name Skinwalker is derived from Navajo folklore and refers to malevolent shape-shifting entities believed to inhabit the area. Over the years, Skinwalker Ranch has been the subject of numerous investigations by scientists, paranormal researchers, and journalists seeking to uncover the truth behind the reported phenomena. However, access to the ranch has been tightly controlled, leading to speculation and conspiracy theories about what may be happening on the property. The Flatwoods Monster, also known as the Braxton County Monster or the Phantom of Flatwoods, is a creature reportedly sighted in the small town of Flatwoods, West Virginia, on September 12, 1952. The incident occurred when a group of local boys and a woman witnessed a bright object streaking across the sky and landing on a nearby hill. Upon investigating the landing site, the witnesses claimed to have encountered a towering figure over 10 feet tall, with a glowing red face and glowing eyes. The creature was described as having a spade-shaped head, a metallic-looking body, and long, spindly arms. Additionally, witnesses reported a foul odor emanating from the creature. The encounter with the Flatwoods Monster quickly gained attention and became one of the most famous alleged UFO encounters of the 1950s. The incident was investigated by various authorities, including the U.S. Air Force, though no conclusive explanation was ever reached. The Betty and Barney Hill abduction is one of the most famous and well-documented cases of claimed alien abduction in UFO lore. It occurred on the night of September 19th to 20th, 1961, when Betty and Barney Hill, an interracial couple from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, reported experiencing a strange and terrifying encounter while driving through rural New Hampshire. During their journey, the Hills claimed to have observed a bright light in the sky that seemed to be following them. As they continued their drive, they experienced a period of missing time and later recalled encountering strange beings who appeared to be humanoid in shape but had large, wraparound eyes and grayish skin. Under hypnosis conducted by psychiatrist Dr. Benjamin Simon, the Hills recalled being taken aboard a craft by these beings, subjected to medical examinations, and experiencing feelings of fear and disorientation. Their accounts of the abduction, which were later recounted in a book titled The Interrupted Journey, gained widespread attention and became a landmark case in UFO research. Edward Mordrake is a figure of urban legend and folklore, often cited as an example of a two-faced man, or a person with a rare and mysterious medical condition known as diprosopis. According to the legend, Mordrake was born into a wealthy and aristocratic family in the 19th century with a second face on the back of his head. The second face, which was said to be twisted and malevolent, was unable to speak or eat, but was capable of expressing emotions and making eerie whispering sounds. Mordrake purportedly suffered greatly from the presence of this demon face, which tormented him with its constant whispering and malevolent intentions. Despite his attempts to rid himself of the second face, including seeking medical treatment and consulting with various doctors and specialists, Mordrake was ultimately unable to find relief. According to the legend, he eventually took his own life at a young age to escape the torment inflicted upon him by his devil twin. Mary Toft was an Englishwoman who gained notoriety in the early 18th century for her involvement in the so-called rabbit birthing hoax. In 1726, Toft, who lived in Godalming, Surrey, claimed to have given birth to rabbits. Her claims attracted widespread attention and were initially met with skepticism, but they soon gained credence when she produced several animal parts purportedly expelled from her womb. Toft's case captured the interest of the medical community, and several prominent physicians, including Nathaniel St. Andre and John Howard, investigated her claims. They observed Toft over a period of weeks and witnessed her apparently giving birth to more animal parts. The case caused a sensation and sparked debates about human anatomy, reproduction, and the nature of miracles. However, suspicions began to arise when inconsistencies and discrepancies emerged in Toft's story. Under pressure from authorities and skeptics, Toft eventually confessed to perpetrating a hoax, claiming that she had inserted the animal parts into her body herself to deceive others. She implicated St. Andre and Howard, accusing them of being complicit in the deception. Gloria Ramirez, also known as the Toxic Lady, was a patient who gained notoriety due to a mysterious and controversial incident that occurred during her treatment at Riverside General Hospital in California on February 19, 1994. Ramirez, a 31-year-old woman, was brought to the emergency room with symptoms of confusion, tachycardia, and difficulty breathing. During the course of her treatment, medical staff observed strange odors coming from Ramirez's body and noticed an oily sheen on her skin. As they attempted to administer medication, several staff members became ill, experiencing symptoms such as dizziness, fainting, and shortness of breath. Some reported feeling a burning sensation on their skin and a taste of metal in their mouths. The emergency room was evacuated, and Ramirez was given emergency treatment, but she ultimately died later that evening. The exact cause of Ramirez's symptoms and the illness that affected the medical staff remains a subject of debate and controversy. Some theories propose that Ramirez may have been exposed to toxic substances, such as dimethyl sulfoxide, DMSO, which she reportedly used as a home remedy for pain relief. Mike the Headless Chicken, also known as Miracle Mike, was a Wyandotte rooster who achieved fame after surviving for 18 months after his head had been severed from his body. The incident occurred in Florida, Colorado, in 1945, when Lloyd Olson, a farmer, attempted to slaughter Mike for dinner but missed the jugular vein, leaving the brain stem largely intact. To everyone's surprise, Mike continued to live and even attempted to peck for food, despite the absence of a head. Olson decided to keep Mike alive and began feeding him with a dropper, providing water and grain directly into his esophagus. News of the headless chicken spread, and Mike quickly became a sensation, attracting crowds of curious onlookers and even appearing in sideshows and on tour. Mike's miraculous survival captured the public's imagination and led to speculation about the potential for chickens to live without their heads. However, Mike's case was unique due to the specific way in which his head was severed and the survival of his brain stem, which controlled basic functions such as heart rate and breathing. Chris Kremers and Lizen Freund were two Dutch women who disappeared while hiking in the Panamanian jungle in April 2014. The two friends, both in their early 20s, had traveled to Panama for a 6-week vacation and had planned to spend a day hiking in the dense forests near Boquete. However, when Kremers and Freund failed to return from their hike as planned, a search and rescue operation was launched. Despite extensive efforts, including the use of helicopters, search dogs, and local guides, no sign of the women was found for several weeks. In June 2014, local residents discovered scattered remains and personal belongings belonging to Kremers and Freund along the banks of a nearby river. Further searches uncovered additional evidence, including a backpack containing a camera and a cell phone. The recovered photos and messages revealed that the women had become lost and disoriented during their hike and had attempted to signal for help. The circumstances surrounding Kremers and Freund's disappearance and subsequent deaths remain a subject of speculation and debate. While some theories suggest that the women may have fallen victim to accidents or foul play, others propose more mysterious explanations, such as encounters with wildlife or supernatural forces. Susan Powell was a Utah woman who disappeared under suspicious circumstances in December 2009. Powell was last seen at her home in West Valley City, Utah, on December 6, 2009. Her husband, Josh Powell, claimed that he had taken their 2 young sons on a late-night camping trip in freezing temperatures in Utah's West Desert. Despite extensive searches and investigations by law enforcement, Susan Powell's disappearance remains unsolved. Suspicion quickly fell on Josh Powell, who was named a person of interest in the case. However, he consistently denied any involvement in his wife's disappearance and maintained that he did not know what had happened to her. In 2012, Josh Powell killed himself and his two sons in an explosion at his home in Washington state, further complicating the investigation into Susan Powell's disappearance. Despite the tragedy, authorities continued to pursue leads in the case, but Susan's whereabouts remain unknown. Maura Murray was a 21-year-old college student from Hanson, Massachusetts, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances on February 9, 2004. Murray was last seen after she crashed her car on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. Witnesses reported that Murray appeared shaken but uninjured after the accident, but by the time police arrived at the scene, she had vanished. Despite extensive searches and investigations by law enforcement, Maura Murray's disappearance remains unsolved. The case has garnered significant media attention and has sparked numerous theories and speculation about what may have happened to her. Some theories suggest that Murray may have been experiencing personal problems and had planned to disappear voluntarily. Others speculate that she may have met with foul play or encountered a predator while attempting to flee the scene of the accident. The WOW signal is one of the most famous and intriguing incidents in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI. It occurred on August 15, 1977, when astronomers working on the SETI project at Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope detected a strong, narrowband radio signal coming from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. The signal was highly unusual because of its intensity and its narrow frequency range, which fell within the band that is typically not used by natural sources and is considered to be a prime target for interstellar communication. Astronomer Jerry R. Emin, who discovered the signal while reviewing data printouts, circled the signal and wrote, "Wow," next to it, giving it its name. Despite numerous subsequent efforts to detect the signal again, it has never been observed again, leading to speculation and debate about its origin. Some scientists suggest that it could have been a natural phenomenon or a result of human interference, while others propose that it may have been an artificial signal from an extraterrestrial civilization. Mandy the Haunted Doll is a reportedly cursed doll housed at the Canal and District Museum in British Columbia, Canada. According to legend, Mandy was donated to the museum in 1991 along with a trunk of belongings belonging to a woman named Miranda. Visitors and staff at the museum have reported strange occurrences and unsettling experiences in Mandy's presence, leading to the belief that the doll is haunted. Numerous accounts describe Mandy allegedly moving on her own, changing expressions, and emitting a sense of unease or fear in those nearby. Some visitors have claimed to feel a presence or energy emanating from the doll, while others have reported hearing disembodied voices or experiencing physical sensations when near her. The legend of Mandy the Haunted Doll has attracted widespread attention and curiosity, with paranormal enthusiasts and skeptics alike drawn to her story. While some dismiss the claims surrounding Mandy as mere superstition or coincidence, others believe that there may be something genuinely supernatural about the doll's alleged abilities. Joliet, the Haunted Doll, has been in the possession of a single family for over a century, passed down through generations despite its cursed nature. The doll is said to hold the souls of 4 children, each tragically lost soon after birth, and its eerie cries haunt the family each night. Despite the pain it brings, the family cannot bear to part with the doll, feeling a duty to protect the trapped souls within. The curse began with Anna's great-grandmother, who received Joliet as a gift during her pregnancy. Unbeknownst to her, the doll was cursed by a jealous friend, leading to the death of her newborn son and a cycle of tragedy that would repeat for generations. Each woman in the family would have a son who passed away 3 days after birth, their cries echoing from within the doll. Now in Anna's possession, The doll serves as a constant reminder of the family's pain and loss. Despite the burden it brings, Anna cannot risk losing the doll, fearing the consequences if it were to break. The curse weighs heavily on her, compounded by the disbelief of others who cannot hear the cries of the trapped souls. The Stanford Prison Experiment was a psychological study conducted by psychologist Philip Zimbardo in 1971 at Stanford University. The experiment aimed to investigate the psychological effects of perceived power and authority in a simulated prison environment. Participants were recruited through newspaper ads and were screened for psychological stability before being randomly assigned to the roles of either prisoners or guards. The study took place in a simulated prison set up in the basement of the Stanford Psychology Department, with Zimbardo acting as the superintendent. The experiment quickly escalated as the guards began to assert their authority over the prisoners, employing harsh and dehumanizing tactics to maintain control. The prisoners, in turn, became submissive and compliant, despite initially protesting against their treatment. The study was intended to last 2 weeks, but was terminated after only 6 days, due to the increasingly abusive behavior of the guards and the deteriorating mental health of the prisoners. Many participants experienced psychological distress, and some even developed symptoms of depression and anxiety. The Stanford Prison Experiment raised ethical concerns about the treatment of participants and the potential for harm in psychological research. Critics argued that the study lacked proper oversight and that participants were not adequately protected from harm. The Battle of Los Angeles, also known as the Great Los Angeles Air Raid, refers to a series of events that occurred during the early morning hours of February 25, 1942. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, the United States was on high alert for potential enemy air raids along the Pacific coast. On the night of February 24, 1942, radar operators detected an unidentified object flying over the Pacific Ocean towards Los Angeles, triggering a citywide blackout and air raid alert. Throughout the night, anti-aircraft artillery batteries fired thousands of rounds of ammunition at the object, which was described by witnesses as a large, slow-moving craft with blinking lights. Despite the intense barrage of gunfire, no enemy aircraft were shot down, and there were no reports of damage or casualties on the ground. The object eventually disappeared from radar and was never positively identified. In the aftermath of the incident, the military initially claimed that the object was a Japanese aircraft conducting a reconnaissance mission over Los Angeles. However, this explanation was later called into question, as no evidence of enemy aircraft or wreckage was ever found, and Japanese authorities denied any involvement in the incident. Spontaneous human combustion, SHC, is a phenomenon in which a human body allegedly catches fire and burns without an external source of ignition. Theories about SHC typically involve the combustion of a person's body tissues due to internal chemical reactions or unusual circumstances, but the exact mechanisms remain a subject of debate. Cases of SHC often involve the discovery of a burned body with little or no damage to the surrounding environment, suggesting that the fire was confined to the individual's body. Some reports describe the presence of greasy or oily residues at the scene, as well as the almost complete destruction of the body, while nearby objects remain relatively untouched by the fire. Numerous theories have been proposed to explain SHC, including the presence of flammable substances in the body, such as alcohol or fatty tissues, as well as the buildup of gases produced by bacterial fermentation. Other hypotheses suggest that certain chemical reactions or metabolic disorders could contribute to the phenomenon, while skeptics argue that most cases of alleged SHC can be attributed to more conventional explanations, such as accidents involving smoking or open flames. That's it for part 4 of the iceberg. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next video.